Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Thank you for taking time to cruise in for Car Club Talk with Robert, Randy, and Dana. All three of us in the studio today. Welcome to our home in Lone Star Community Radio Studios, housed here in Conroe Tower and the county where the official flag of the Lone Star State was born. I'm Randy Weldon along with Robert Helmer, and sitting over here is Dana Pritchard. And sequestered back in the safe room / sound studio is our sound engineer and producer, Dick Schischler. We are broadcasting from Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM and streaming worldwide on irlonestar.com, YouTube, and Facebook. What, Robert, what do you have written down over there? You got anything?
Well, welcome back first.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's nice to have you in the studio, man.
It's good to
you
be
disappeared
back.
on us.
Yeah, sure did. And, speaking of Dick behind the wall is kind of like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look back here,
Or we can always say, "Where's Waldo?"
You don't see me. You don't see what's happening back here. Our first guest is going to be Dawn Candy. She is with the Hands of Justice. She's the executive director, and I know you know her quite a.
Yeah, we go back since about 2006 or 7 when she was with the Montgomery County Food Bank. We did a car event called Cruisin for Cans, and so we raised money for the food bank at one of our car events. And all these years later, she's still involved in the community, doing great things, and now she's raising awareness for sex trafficking and human
Cruisin
trafficking.
for Cans. That's a great name for a food drive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's almost like cruising against hunger.
It is.
Yeah.
That was one of Robert's
That's one of
original
my
shows, man.
Yeah.
Was what?
Cruisin' Against Hunger.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
I'm way before you, so
Okay.
I don't know
I
how
think
long
that
ago
was about
yours
2009.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I was 6, so
Yeah.
2006. So.
And then our second
Way before
guest,
I was born.
Yeah.
Our second guest is coming in today, Al Gerhart. He's the treasurer of the Tomball Lions Club, associated with the Lions Car, Tomball Lions Car. Show.
Yeah, can't wait to talk about that show.
Yeah, that's one of the largest shows that are still around, and
They get about 350 cars, and what I found out
Yeah.
was, we'll talk about when he gets in here, but they capped it at 350.
right. And you always hear positive stories about that car show. They do a great job.
We'll
They
have
do.
to ask about the judging, how they do their judging.
Yeah, well, Jason.
Yep.
Jason was also doing it with CarShowFun.com, which is now gone away. I'm waiting to see if they're going to do it with speed judging, like the Northside Mustang Car Club.
You
is
went to
gonna
that
do.
training. I didn't. So
Yeah. So
Hey, do you know Katie and Jason Scaturo, right?
Yes, I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, I know Jason.
yeah, I think he was responsible for the judging for the last 2 years there. So he's done a good job.
As long as
Yeah.
it's fair and square, like the North Side's.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Well, all judging's fair and square. You know
yeah,
that.
Except in some
they try really hard to make sure.
In
it
some
is.
clubs,
Yeah.
some clubs.
some events.
Yeah. And it's coming to our talking points about that. Speed advocates. Remember Stephen Cruz?
I do.
He came on the podcast, and that was a great podcast. So if anybody's out there and wants to see that, go look it up at cruisincarclubtalk.com. You'll see all of our podcasts there, and you can see Stephen.
He has a lot of events out, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He has
I
a lot of
didn't.
cruises.
I didn't see until this past. I think it was Sunday night. Todd Cavini had posted that he had taken part in some event that Stephen put on that was involving race cars.
Oh yeah, that was at the shop, and it's a new area over in Tomball where you can store your car and
Is that
so-
in Tomball or Houston?
No, it's Tomball.
Tomball. Have you been there?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
But-
I saw the pictures on the
The
internet.
facility looks really great. There's a restaurant inside. There's a lot of things that are for members only. If you have a car, you got a storage area, you're considered a member. So there's a lot of things there, a lot of perks for members only. And so, but it's just a good place, looks like, to have a car show. And they brought out a lot of racing cars. So that was a pretty good event.
Yeah, I wish I'd have made that.
Yeah. But Steve threw a poll up, and it's a poll that I've actually tried to do. I didn't get the response that he did. He got quite a response of 65 comments, and it was same thing, car meets or car shows. And it was pretty much 80% was pretty much car meets. And one thing I like about the comments on this one was people really went into detail why. And a lot of it is they just want to come and go as they please. They don't want to.
Yeah.
They
don't
don't
want to
want
be stuck there for 6 hours.
Yeah, they don't want to pay $30 or $40 and be stuck in a chair all day. And so it's kind of like, okay, that's what people are leaning to more often, and that's why when you go to events and you're looking for events to post, what's coming up, it's all pretty much cars and coffee. I mean, they're everywhere now. And so it's like, that's the new thing.
It's meet and greets, just
meet
hello,
and greets, right.
show and go.
So it kind of makes you wonder where the car clubs are headed.
But your poll got 100% response because I'm the one that responded.
Okay.
I was that guy.
You responded 65 times?
Yes.
So-
Just one time, 100% response.
I did post on there what the difference was between the two, and everybody kind of understood that and was willing to come. About 20% said, yeah, they were willing to come to support the club, and they understood what is being done with a trophy car show between a cruise and a meet. Yeah. So, but my thing is we're looking in the future. We're down the line, are the established car clubs still going to be there?
Yeah, look.
As long as you still have volunteers.
Yeah.
That's the key.
And another thing is,
Volunteers
okay,
are key.
we use the excuse that these car shows are financially supporting us for the year, right? Well, if we have a drop in participants, and like we have ever since the COVID, we can't hardly get 100 cars like we used to. We're getting 50 and 60 cars for the last 2 years. So maybe we need to go back and think about other ways of financing the car club other than trophy car shows.
With TWCC that Dana originated, that's a cruise-in where people
Yeah.
come in and they donate, and they know they're coming there to donate.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the denomination is.
Right.
Although I'll take pennies and she wants dollars. She wants paper
Well-
money. I'll take coins.
Well, pocket full of change is fine with me because you
Right.
need to get rid of it somewhere.
Dana has a lot of loyal supporters that come every first of the month.
Every single month.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the whole reason that we were putting on car shows, it wasn't really. Some of that money was going to keep the car clubs afloat.
Right, and the other was for donating to the
But
charities.
the majority of it was going to charity, and still
Right.
does go to
Right.
charity.
But also, I think you explained, though, what else do you do with the money? You have camaraderie and you do things together. You have
Right.
special dinners and drives and
T-shirts,
yeah,
or
T-shirts and
hats,
apparel.
or whatever you're giving out to your
Yeah.
members.
Or you just do fun events and go places, museums or whatnot. So
Right.
it's not like the money's not being put to good use. It's
Yeah, and you got to pay insurance. That's one thing. Organized clubs pay insurance.
and security or
yeah.
equipment.
Well, I look at it more as responsible clubs pay for insurance. There's event insurance,
Yeah.
and it's about $400 a year if you're a member of a large organization, or $100 per event. But that can add up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
So if you're
usually
paying
about-
for that, if you're paying for law enforcement to be there, to kind of keep things orderly.
Right.
And also CPAs to have an accountant, also a mailbox, post office fees, bank account fees.
Yeah, and the CPA for the
Yeah.
year. Yeah. So it all costs a little bit of money. That's what people need to understand, and we're just that's why we're doing it. We're not just doing it for yeah.
Well, you're doing it to get out of the house. That's different. That's a different.
But like Randy from Nifty 50s, that's
Yeah.
a perfect example. He's been around a long time also. And he charges a fee to get in.
Right, and it's because he has an insurance policy that's huge.
And also for, I think, security maybe or some.
Yeah, security is a little bit, but his insurance policy is like about $10,000 a year. So that's he's got to
Oh, that's how ours is too.
Yeah, he's gotta
It's-
get that
I think
cost
it's more
back.
than that for ours, but.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's a good example of, yes, it's a meet and greet, it's a street meet, but you still pay. Whereas a lot of these morning events, you just gather, it's a free-for-all,
Yeah.
so.
I just thought it was a real interesting poll, and I see where people's mindsets are, and why
So they're-
they don't like the trophy car shows.
They're trending more towards just showing up and
Just showing up and being
Chatting
able
and
to
leaving.
leave, when they want, and not having to sit there all day. I don't think they have a problem with supporting a charity like yours. You know, when they come to Cars and Coffee, they're willing to support, you know, the charity each month.
But I think it's a time issue too.
Yeah.
Now, it's changed 10, 15 years. People are more busy than ever.
Yeah.
And then also, you rub people the wrong way also with the whole trophy thing. The egos get in the way, and somebody's always
A lot of
leaving
people
disappointed.
mention that, you know, that they didn't want to go through the whole trophy thing for, you know, people picking trophies for their friends or whatever the excuse is or whatever
It just
the argument is.
gives a bad feeling, you
Yeah,
know.
they don't want to go through that.
Now, I mean, that's why you have judging clinics and try to get everybody to judge to a certain standard.
Yeah.
If it's a judged
It
car
would
show.
really help if most of these people who never judged or never participated in being on the staff of a car show would join and experience at least once or twice before they say, oh, I don't want, you know, I don't like those or whatever.
Look, I mean, I can remember first getting back to Houston and getting involved in the car club community, and you know, at first I didn't know what I was doing out there, so I just wanted to show up and kind of hang out and see what was going on. Then I started learning a little bit about cleaning and detailing my car.
Right.
You know, and then after that it became, well, you know, this isn't exciting enough. Let's put one of these on. You know, let's become a judge. Let's, you know, then start putting these things on. So.
Yeah. And if you join a club, you're actually meeting and hanging out with like-minded people, you know.
But you heard the other side of the whole, the feedback I get too is a lot of these clubs, they just are at their destination for the whole time, or they're going out to eat too much. Some people want to be more active, and they want to
Right.
go on cruises and drive their car.
Right.
Which I don't know if there's a lot of clubs out there anymore. Do you that actually drive and take cruises? I know there are some, but I know Northside Mustang
most of them
Car Club.
that are coming in here and talking to us, yeah, they're doing cruises, they're doing
Yeah,
things.
and people like that. They're active.
Also, what we found out was a lot of them are cruising out of state and going on long cruises. Yeah,
Yep.
so they're making a week vacation out of it.
Well, in May, I mean, I'll go to Ozarks for
Right.
Ozark International Raceway and a car show up there and a track event.
Yeah. The Mopar
And
Club
you
is
should be a
coming
part
in.
of that.
And the Celine Club is going to Round Rock.
Yep, going over to Kalahari Resort. That's for a national show,
That's in July, I believe.
and they do other events. They have driving events and everything else
Yeah.
coming up in July. Yeah.
But I did want to commend the Northside Mustang Car Club, because even though we have a Corvette family, we're always interested in your club because of how cohesive it is and well put together and organized, and all the events that you offer.
Right.
Different times, you know, different events, different places. It's exciting.
Yeah.
There's always something to do.
That's where all the Corvette guys get together and say, "Look at those idiots."
No, but I'm just saying, it's light, you know, it's.
Well, it's all based on leadership, and Vernon Wilhelm has done one heck of a job
Yeah.
leading that club.
Yeah. It's going to be really
he's-
hard to find somebody to fill his shoes.
He really does put together a full calendar for the year, and make sure that, you know, there are a variety of events going on.
But he
Right.
has the supportive backing of the members.
Right,
Because
yeah.
you can have all these ideas, but if it's not for the members supporting you to participate, and just like what you said, Robert, we plan all these events, and you don't know if there's gonna be 3 people show up, or 13 people show up, or have, you know, half of them cancel
Yeah,
last minute.
you never know.
Yeah, so,
It's just what it is when you get there and just try to have fun with who you have.
but with the Northside Club, I feel like they have a good participation because of the leadership that brings everybody to support.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's everybody just has a good time being together. You know, a lot of common interests with everybody. So let me switch gears a little bit here. Do you have any automotive news?
Do you know there's okay, this is from Haggerty. It's the Price Guide Index. It's almost like the stock market, okay? And like I was telling Randy, I said, you know that you can actually take money out of your 401k and buy a collector car? And that you don't get any
I didn't know
tax-
that.
you get any- it's
You're,
considered as
you're
an-
not taxed on it.
Yeah, it's considered as an investment. And so Haggerty keeps a price index like the stock market index, and it's on collector cars, and it's the performance for the last 12 months, and this year hasn't been a good year. Let's see, the American cars are down 10%, even Ferrari is down 9%, British cars are down 2%, Haggerty did say if they're the best buys right now are the 1950 classics. There's no change. They keep their value and they're steady. So
They still have original metal parts on them.
right. So I guess if you buy like a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, it's going to keep its value pretty good. That one example was the 1969 Boss 429. It's valued around $290,000 right now, but it did lose 7% of that this year in the last 12 months.
Which one was that?
This is it's an example of a car that they insure.
Now, what year?
1969 Boss 429, and it's valued at $294,000, and it lost 7. Now this one, the Mercury Cougars, since there's so hard to find a good Mustang now, the Cougars are coming up in value. The 68, the 69, the ones that look like a Mustang. Yeah, so there's the Mercury Cougar GTE 428 engine, and it's actually up 2%, and I don't have the actual value on it, but they were talking about how that is a great buy right now because they're coming up in value. Everybody, all the collectors are starting out looking at them because there's no more Mustangs to buy. Everybody's done bought them all up.
What was the value of that 69 Boss 429?
$290,000.
You know, sitting here in Houston is production number 1, production model number 1. And in the 1970 Boss 429, that's also sitting here in Houston. Assuming he hasn't sold it, but I don't think he
Yeah.
has.
Let's see if I can get any other example. Let's see. Japanese classics, down 3%. Supercars. I don't know what they actually consider supercars, but they are staying steady at 2%. So
That'd be like Ford GT maybe. Things like
I
that.
guess.
no, the supercars are like the Lamborghinis or stuff that are
Exotics?
over.
Oh, is that what
the
they're considering?
exotics, The exotics.
What we call
Yeah,
exotics?
yeah.
Okay.
So I just thought that was a very interesting read. If you didn't know that you can actually buy a collector car with your 401k and keep it as an investment, and watch this Haggerty price index and see how it goes up and down. Also, it lists all the cars and it gives you a good idea of what they're worth. 79 to 93 Ford Mustangs valued around 26, and took a hard drop, 12 months minus 26%. So that's
Wow,
all
that's
Mustangs,
significant.
Yeah, all Mustangs 79 to 93. And the values are as good condition. These values right here are good, what they consider good condition.
Wait a minute. 79 to 93, those are still Fox bodies, right?
I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was before you were born. So
No. I had a Fox body.
I love those.
Gave that one to my daughter. She ran it right into the ground. It was her
Yeah.
first car.
Even Mercedes-Benz, 1984 to 1993 Mercedes-Benz, good condition, valued about $50,000. Let's see, 12%. So it's been a hard year for cars. And I think you can kind
And
of
it's
see
only
that.
March.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that's a 12-month
Okay.
report. And so you can kind of see that also at Barrett. If you just watch the Barrett Jackson or Mecum auctions on TV, you can see the prices aren't hitting what they used to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched any of that.
Yeah.
Been a little busy this year.
Okay.
Try to recover from that back surgery.
And it's
though.
only March.
It's only March, that's right.
Yeah. And then there's the rumor of the Ford Shelby GT 500 to be making a return. And this is all because of a document has been leaked from the local UAW. And the document is saying that it's going to be coming back in 2026, and it's going to have a new engine design, and the engine design is going to be called the Legend. And this is in Car and Driver magazine, so if you want to know more about it, go to Car and Driver magazine and read the article. So
How many are you going to buy?
I don't know. I was still crazy about the Dark Horse. You know, the Dark Horse is still out there being for sale.
Yeah, but you want to get on the list of the
Yeah,
the
I mean,
first
the Dark
40 or so
Horses-
built.
I
It's
thought
just
you were talking about a Tesla.
No, the Dark Horse Mustang
EVs are coming.
is
Didn't he say he wanted one?
60,000.
Yeah. He wanted a Tesla sports car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Roadster, the 2026 Roadster.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful Tesla. It's $200,000, but the way it looks and the red color that it's in, yeah.
Something to drive back and forth to work in the
As soon as I win
morning.
the lotto, I'm going to Tesla and buying that one.
Yes, as soon as you win the lotto.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you got anything else over there on automotive news?
No, other than maybe you want to do current events or you want to wait till after. Not current, but upcoming events.
Let's do upcoming events.
Okay, there's the Tomball Rotary Car Club show. It's going to be March the 15th, and it's going to be at the Parkway Chevrolet, and it's hosted by our great friends, the Sam Houston Corvette Club. Are you still a part of them?
Yeah, we're still a part of them.
Okay. So that's going to be, let's see, Parkway Chevrolet, 25500 Texas Highway 249 in Tomball.
All right.
All right. And this one really got me. This one's going to be the Double D's Car and Bike Show. And it's going to be Saturday, March the 15th. And it's going to be here in Conroe at the Golden Corral.
At the what? Golden Corral.
Who's putting that on?
Let's see. It doesn't have who's actually putting it on. It just says it's going to be.
I see a couple of cats on the picture.
Yeah, a couple of cats.
Cat people.
Yeah. That's
So
gonna be
Golden Corral
So
still,
it
I
doesn't
guess that
say-
was
maybe
Ryan's
Golden
that closed
Corral's
down.
putting it on. Maybe.
I guess so.
Okay.
I didn't know that parking lot was big enough for a car show.
Me either.
So
They love their biscuits.
March 22nd is going to be Saturday at the Strand, and it's going to be on Pier 21 in Galveston. And that is the American Pontiac Association, March 22nd. And that's always a great show. I've been to a couple of them years ago, but
It's a good show and good location.
yeah, great location. March 29th, Northside Mustang Car Club. It's going to be at Rudy's Barbecue on 105 West over by Papa's on the Lake, right across the street from them.
That's out on 105 West, and if you drive past Rudy's, it'll look like nothing's going on because the front parking lot only has about 10 spaces, but behind it, I believe they've got about enough
Is
spaces
that
for
taking the
100
place
cars.
of the Ford dealership?
No.
No?
This is going to be at Rudy's Barbecue.
No, but I mean, was that the one that was at?
Yep, it used to be at
Yeah, it used
Gullo.
to be at Gullo.
And you were looking for a new location?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
No, they had to carry heavier inventory. Didn't have the space.
Right.
Right.
Cost a lot of money to move the cars off the lot and back onto the lot. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm
we had
glad
to
you
find
found a
another
new
location.
location.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is going to be actually in the back part of the parking lot at Rudy's. So if you don't see it at the front, we're in the
They've had
back.
shows there before and meets and stuff. It's a
Yeah.
nice place.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, a car cruise. Speaking of car cruises now, April 5th, they're going to the Hemi Hideout. And this is also sponsored by the Northside Mustang Car Club. And let's see, it's open to all Mustangs and all Mustang clubs. And I think it's actually opened up to everybody.
It's open to all car shows. I know
Yeah.
the Mopar guys wanted to go, and they got a thumbs up for it.
And
So
the
And
Corvettes.
I think also the Corvettes are joining.
that's organized by Jim Bowden. Do you have a contact information there for him?
Let's see what we got here. No, I don't have any phone numbers here.
Who's Jim with?
He's a Northside
Okay.
member.
But they are meeting at the Buc-ee's at 9:30. They arrived at the Hemi Hideout at 10.
That would be the Buc-ee's Interstate 10 in Katy, right?
Right.
At 10 a.m. Go figure. Somebody's meeting at Buc-ee's.
Yep. So that's going to be a good one. It's a great place. Always have a lot of fun there. And then the old,
I've not been yet. I need
You
to go.
haven't been there?
No.
well,
What, to Buc-ee's?
I've been to
If
Buc-ee's.
you look at the pictures here, okay, see all the beams that are
Yeah.
going to the middle and meeting?
Yeah.
There is no nails at all holding this building up. They're all wooden
It's
pegs.
all wooden pegs. I grew up with the Amish, so I'm familiar with the wooden peg building
Also on
scheme
the
out
same
there.
date is April 5th is the Kima Boardwalk Mustang Show sponsored by the Space City Mustang. And that's where we're supposed to be out there, so I
Wow.
hope we got our gear ready for
I
that.
know you'll be out there doing a live feed for
Well, we're
Cruisin
We're all supposed to be
Car
out
Club
there.
Talk.
Yeah, because it actually has our logo on the flyer.
All right, well, we'll be there.
Yeah, saying we're going to be there.
You going to be there with us,
Is
Dana?
that the day before Cars and Coffee? Yep.
Well, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one.
That's in Kima.
That is on the Kima Boardwalk. And there's nothing like having your car on the boardwalk right there. My last time I did this show, my car was right there in front of Landry's.
It's a Mustang show?
Yep. And actually, it was one of the best shows I've ever attended because it rained on us. It was really hot and humid, but we worked our butts off to clean these cars because it rained. And the judges came out and said, "Hey, you got 5 minutes to. We're coming to judge your car," and we used everybody's towels. Everybody who had extra towels, they would just say, "Hey, we got 4 or 5 towels here if anybody needs." So everybody was all working together to clean all the cars and get them dry before the judges came out. And so it was really a great show.
Well, I look forward to taking part in it this year.
That. April the 12th, Spring Open Car Show, and this is going to be at the Lone Star Flight Museum, and this is Mustang Club of Houston. And it's going to be...
Another great location.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Aerospace Avenue in Houston, Texas, 77034.
Well, it's the Ellington Airfield. It's right in front of it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
it
at the
doesn't
main
say
entrance.
Ellington Airfield.
It's the main entrance to Ellington. So.
Just gives you the street address.
Yep.
April 19th, the Space City Cruiser Spring Car Show. This is another great one. This is at Walter Hall Park. It's on 8057 Highway 3 North in League City. And they've been doing this for years. I think Space City Car Cruiser Car Show is Car Club is one of the oldest car clubs in town.
They've been around a minute.
Yeah. And that's where the Camaro Kid was at.
Yeah.
And that's where we used to go get all of our information. And then don't forget about Mustang Week in Texas and Galveston, April the 24th to 27th.
You know, I guess the base of that's in Galveston.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's
going to be all over.
Yeah, it'll be in Galveston. It'll be out at HMP for the drag portion of it,
Right.
drag strip portion of it, and then for the open road course, it'll be at MSR. So that's going to be a pretty cool event there.
And another one we have is Frontier Day in Albin, the Rotary Club Car and Bike Show, National Oak Park, and that has been around for years.
We need to reach out to some of these people, get them to zoom in here.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of time to get them on the show, talk about their shows.
I remember this being like one of the first few shows I was doing when I started doing car shows.
When they first let you out of the hood.
Yep.
You're knee high to a
When
grasshopper.
I first bought a Mustang. Yeah.
Hey, we've well run over our time. We got to get out of here and give some station recognition. So on the way out, this is Cruisin' Car Club Talk on 104.5 and 106.1 FM. Or for those of you who may have wondered outside the listening area, we can be streamed around the globe at irlonestar.com, on YouTube, or on Facebook.
And we'll be right back with our first guest here in the studio, so stay tuned.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
We are back and can't thank you enough for spending time to cruise in for Car Club Talk with Robert, Randy, and Dana. And we've got somebody in the studio this segment. Dana, who do we have here?
We have Dawn Candy from Hands of Justice. We go back a long way, almost 20 years in the community. And Dawn has been out at the Cars and Coffee for a Cause, showcasing various charities throughout the years and support. And she does great for the Woodlands and Montgomery County area. So I'm glad that she could be here today to talk about Hands of Justice.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you coming in. So tell us a little bit about Hands of Justice. I saw that it's about human trafficking.
Yes. So, Randy, we're an anti-trafficking organization, and we primarily work with women survivors who have exited the life of trafficking. Typically, our clients are those who may have tried to do life on their own and realized they needed a community and a support system, so they've reached out to us. Some of them are in residential programming. And what we do for those survivors is provide them with survivor-led support groups. We help pay for trauma-informed therapy. We work with them on their economic empowerment, which oftentimes includes education, because some of them come out and they don't have a high school diploma. So we help them get their GED. We pay for scholarships for college. or a trade school. We work with Workforce Solutions to provide that second chance career for them. They've got second chance employers who will work with our survivors because oftentimes they come out with a criminal record. And that is a big deterrent for a lot of companies to hire them. And so we walk alongside them as they work on their healing and work on being able to stand on their own 2 feet with a legitimate job and become the people that they were created to be.
So how's this? I had looked on your website, and a lot of this is directed towards teens. But I've been involved in a car show in the past where it was about human trafficking. Got to meet some of the gals that had actually escaped that. And they took, I can't remember, it was like bashing the pimp car or something, where we took a sledgehammer and beat.
I remember that.
You remember that one?
Yep.
I was in the park and ride thing out there behind College Park High School. But how does it occur? How does, it's around every community.
It is.
And it's deeply ingrained, more so than anybody thinks.
It absolutely is. Yeah, so the interesting part is during 2020, COVID did a lot for traffickers because it isolated us, right? We weren't able to go out into the public and have our social integration that we had. And everyone went online. So did the traffickers. So a lot of times it happens through grooming. A very large percentage, about 73% of people are bought and sold online. They're groomed online. You may see a friend request from someone that you think, okay, we have some mutual friends. You need to be careful of those things. Children, we're out always trying to educate kids and tell them, don't friend anyone that you don't know, even if they know your friends, even if it looks like they know your friends. Don't friend them unless you can put eyes on those people. Because they will actually look at your profile. They will see, oh, you have a dog. You like to go to this place and have, frozen yogurt. You like to go to movies, all of the activities that you do. And what ends up happening is they strike up that conversation with you. Now they've lured you in. You feel a little bit safe because you've got a bond. They have the same kind of dog you do. They like to go to the same dog park, so they say on the chats. So we encourage adults to know what your kids are doing. Please watch that, even boys, because I have a lot of parents who say, I don't have to worry about that. I have a boy. It's the same for boys. The number of boy victims has gone up 30 to 35% since the pandemic in 2020. Yeah. So how does it happen?
30 to 35%.
Correct.
Since COVID hit.
Since COVID, yes.
That's astounding.
Because more people are online.
More people are online. And because, parents think it's a safe place. Oh, they're just chatting with their friends while they're gaming.
Yeah.
Or they're just chatting with their friends in Messenger on social media and that type of thing. But it's dangerous. The predators are there, and they are saying the things that the kids want to hear because kids are frustrated with their parents. They're too strict. They won't let me do this. They won't let me do that. Traffickers can tell you, if you come with me, you won't have that. You'll have freedom. I'll take care of you. You don't have to abide by those rules.
Yeah.
That's how they lure them in.
Mainly, they're trying to get them to meet them, right? They need that meeting place, and that way they're gone.
There's a whole process that happens from the friend request to the conversation, and that building trust and that grooming process happens. The very last thing is the meetup.
Right.
Before the meetup, it could be that they ask for some type of favor. Maybe it's an inappropriate picture of yourself, something like that, something that they can hold over on that child to now control their action.
Right.
So that will happen right before they request a meeting. Let's meet at the park. Let's meet at the mall, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you see where the parents are just not keeping up with technology? There's new platforms it's not just Facebook. There's platforms opening up every day.
Yes.
And it seems to be a trend that all of them, everybody goes to one platform to the other.
That's true.
And the parents can't keep up. They have no idea what platform they're even on and what they're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll admit to you, so I'm a family member. I had custody of a granddaughter in 2020, and she was lured through social media. She was sex trafficked for 3.5 years. I know I understand. I was part of it where she became isolated. She would hide in her closet while she was texting on her phone or talking on her phone for the privacy piece of it. And so, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The apps that they use, there's an app called Calculator and one that's called Audio Manager. Both of those are vault type of apps where they hide the activity that the kid is doing on their phone. So if your kid has that, you need to be paying attention to that.
Right.
So
Calculator, or what was the other one?
Audio Manager.
Audio Manager.
And there's several others too.
Yes.
That's just-
Yeah. Those are the top two that we hear about most often. But yes, like you said, Robert, they're coming out more and more every day.
Right.
You have a new app, and it's very difficult to keep up with as a parent because you're not in that arena to hear about those things all the time.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, we live in the city of Houston. Yeah, this guy right here drives 2 hours a day to and from work, or more.
Right.
That's difficult by the time you get up at 4 in the morning or whatever, make it to work, and then you're not home till 7 at night. You don't have
Right.
much time for anything after that.
True.
And there's a lot of parents in this city like that.
Yeah.
True.
How are you getting the information out to the kids to inform them that this is going on and to beware?
So we do a lot of Human Trafficking 101 trainings. We typically do those for parents, though, and we do those around local businesses, churches, civic groups, and that type of thing. But we have been contacted by several teen groups that are inside schools who want to participate with us. They want to know about it and they want to share it with their peers.
Right.
We also partner with other nonprofits in the community. Look Up Nonprofit is one that talks about getting off of your device. Life happens in person, that type of
Yeah.
thing. But they also talk about the dangers of being on the internet and not knowing who's on the other side of that screen.
Right.
Well, okay, what age does this normally start at?
I hate to say there is no normal.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I have heard as young as 2 or 3 years old, a child can be trafficked, and it goes up
Right.
to adulthood.
It doesn't have to be as soon
It-
as you get a device in your hand. It can be
No.
a sibling of something.
Well, yeah,
Right,
I'm
because
sure
it
could be-
happens in so many different ways. It can happen as someone posing as a boyfriend. It can happen with gang members. It can happen families, traffic other family members, that kind of thing. So, and no story is the same.
Yeah. My personal experience from this is there was a young girl here in Houston and disappeared within 24 hours. The family went to the police department, and I know the police department are doing the best they can on this, and they probably do move pretty quickly. But organizations like yours is a great help when you think somebody's been kidnapped or taken, and trafficked. To get a hold of an organization like yours to know more what's going on, the organization that this family got a hold of was, they pretty much said, okay, how soon was she taken away? Okay, we have 24 hours. We have
Right.
24 hours to find her. And he did a bunch of phone calls in the organization, the guy who has his organization. They found her in Dallas in a hotel already being sold online
Yeah,
in 24 hours.
yeah.
So,
Dawn,
scary.
Robert was taken and they brought him back. And we're willing to pay at this point. Just take him away. Just for me, since I've not been deeply involved in this, what's involved in human trafficking? I know when I watch a movie like Taken with Liam Neeson, what it involves there, but what's it involved? Because I noticed on your website it talked about pretty much domestic trafficking,
Right.
just here in the U.S., but it's a global issue.
It is a global issue. Unfortunately, though, people think about the movie Taken and they think that's how it happens. There's a white van that pulls up and, pulls a person inside that van and off they go. And that isn't it. It truly is the social media aspect. It truly is a child going to school.
Willingly go in there.
They
Right.
do willingly go because they don't understand what is happening to them. They don't understand this person has just preyed on your vulnerability. But there are also kids inside schools who are recruiting other kids, inviting them to parties with strangers. It is still that person in the, I hate to say it this way, but in the mall who's recruiting for models. Okay, that is still a very prevalent way for them to get their victims. it does happen overseas. It's very common overseas, and it happens very differently there because a lot of times families are giving their child to the trafficker for payment for something. That's their culture. That's the way it works there. Here, we just don't think it happens here. But it happens that way too. There are people that do that. That's how it happens with families trafficking other family members because they have a debt they need to pay off, because they have a financial situation that they need that money for.
Or they think the child's only 5 years old, but I can sell the child, get money, get my debt taken care of, and she'll never remember
That's
later
right.
in life. It happens.
Well, in this country, we're good about denial. We're good about just ignoring that something
Yeah,
really
and you can't
exists.
stick your head in the sand.
And it's the same thing. It's not a very nice subject, obviously, and especially in this community that we live in. It's a little harder to get the message out and to raise awareness because of the subject matter is uncomfortable.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I like to highlight certain charities that don't have a lot of exposure
But
and spotlight them at the Woodlands Cars and Coffee for a Cause and on this platform too with the podcast. I think it's important. So
Have you ever been around a parent that's lost a child?
Yes.
I mean, they are stuck in that moment in time forever.
That's right.
You know, as they can a year or two down the road might be able to laugh and talk to you, but inside of them there's something that's just really, really dark and holding them back. It's just a part of them died inside.
It's a horrible grief. And when this type of this happens, at least in my experience, I went through the whole 5 stages of grief because I lost her. That's just where my head was. I lost her, but I got to the point where I was angry. And for me, what could I do with that anger? I had to be constructive with it. The construction was to tell people about what happened. As soon as I started using my voice and sharing with people, they turned the other way. There were many people in my community that I had known for several years, longer than I've known Dana. She did not turn from me. She wanted to know, how are you? What can I do for you? Many of my friends, though, walked away because they didn't know what to say, almost like I had the plague.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know what? There's nothing to be ashamed of because it's not the victim's fault that it happens to them, and it's not the family's fault that it happens. But there's this shame that comes on you, and you're just afraid to share it because you're afraid of being judged and all of that. I moved past that to the anger stage and just decided, I've got to tell my story. I don't want it to happen to you and your family or you and your family.
Yeah.
And as humans, we have to stick together, help each other, and we also have to support each other, and we could be saving a life.
Yeah.
We
That's
really
right.
could. And
That's
so
right.
you need to forget all of that, turning your backs because, we really need to stick together.
So what all does human trafficking involve other than prostitution?
Well, there's labor trafficking, servitude. So if you happen to see a nanny, a maid, someone who's living in that you don't get to see very often, maybe that nanny is taking the child for a walk or something like that, but that's the only time that you see that nanny. There's something going on there if they don't have the freedom to come and go. Labor trafficking, you see that a lot, unfortunately, in restaurants where they're working long hours. They're not getting the breaks that they need and things like that. It's labor trafficking.
That's all happening here in this country.
It
And
does.
also pictures, too. It doesn't also, it has to be physical, sexual. It could be the transmittal of pictures.
That's
or-
right. Yes.
I remember some breaking stories up around, I believe it was Cleveland, where somebody had these 3 girls in a basement, or somebody even had one under a bed, and they'd build a special box underneath the bed, and they would just let them out certain times of the day.
Right. Yeah.
And for keeping them, I guess, they weren't really using them sexually. They were just keeping them
Yeah.
like slaves.
Yeah.
All that's part of human trafficking.
It is.
So how many arrests are being made on this? It doesn't seem to be making the news.
Well, there's actually going to be a press conference tomorrow. I just came from the constable's office earlier this morning talking about this very thing and trying to figure out how can we be better partners together so that I can understand what their process
Right.
is and they know who we are. And so they are working on this. It is, again, as Dana said, people don't want to talk about it.
It's been
Right.
challenging.
It is not popular to say that you've got this issue in your community, so you don't hear about it a lot.
Well, if you don't, you're not going to stop it.
True, but here's the other issue. He said, it's very rare that we get a phone call of someone that says, I suspect this is happening. Very rare. So to me, there's your opportunity.
Yeah.
See something, say something.
It's politics, though, too, behind it a lot of times, I would think. You have to be careful, fine
They
line.
probably don't want to be wrong either.
Well, there's certain laws
You
they
know,
have to
say
follow.
there's nothing really going on at the time, and then they really feel bad
So
about
are you
it.
saying
Calling,
that
but
the
still,
police aren't getting the calls? Are you getting the calls?
No,
Law
the
enforcement?
police don't get the calls.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm understanding from our meeting this morning is they're not getting the calls because people are afraid. He said oftentimes it could be an adult who is being trafficked, sex trafficked, and the parents know about it, but they say, well, she made her choice.
Wow.
Okay, that's not okay.
right.
But I think they don't understand, again, the complexity of trafficking.
No.
Because oftentimes when the victims come through to us, what we hear is, I thought I was in a relationship. I thought he loved me. I thought I was doing this so that we could get the car that we wanted or we needed or the apartment. So that I was keeping us from being homeless. Those kinds of things. There is a whole, lack of a better term, brainwashing that goes on with the victim. It's a trauma bond that forms between the victim and the trafficker. So they don't often cry out when they are, when they're discovered and when something happens and there is an arrest that is made. Oftentimes that victim does not speak out against the trafficker because she doesn't feel like she was trafficked. She thinks she did this by choice. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And so law enforcement's trying to find out where they fit in, how they can better serve.
They're trying to figure out how to combat this. They're taking a proactive approach. My understanding now is they are working the internet crime side of things because that is the majority of for sale, recruiting, all of that is happening there. That's where they need to be, but they still want the public to come out and say, hey, I saw something. They would much rather you report and be wrong than not report and be right.
And maybe they can make an anonymous tip line or two. Maybe that would help.
The problem with the anonymous is then they can't follow up with you and get more details because we talked about that this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of times they need to circle back to whoever reported.
That's a tough
Are
one.
you seeing a lot of individual cases, or are you seeing like an organized ring doing this?
We actually see more individual. We don't see the ring side, but we hear about it a lot that
Yeah,
people
like
think
real
that that's the
organized
majority.
crime that's making millions
Yes.
of dollars off of people.
And that's not always the case.
Okay.
No.
You guys founded Hands of Justice in 2017, I believe.
Correct.
So you're getting, 7, 8 years old right now? I went to school in Conroe, so I need a calculator. I'm sorry. But in that period of time, and social media has been a thing since then, how much of the brainwashing is actually taking place in social media? Because I'm convinced there's a whole hijacking process that's going on out there with social media.
Absolutely. And not just in trafficking, but just in
Oh, and-
general.
and a lot of
right?
stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So it influences even the most stable person, healthy mental health, because you think about it. It's the highlight reels of everyone's life on social media. And so you feel inferior. My life doesn't look like that. I've got all kinds of struggles going on. So yes, absolutely. That brainwashing starts right there. And you're training, the younger your kiddos get that device in their hand, you're training them to be attuned to that. And then they have to one up and one up.
Yeah.
So it's a really difficult situation.
And also, if you're just an average person struggling
yeah.
in debt, and you could just be on a regular forum of your hobby of choice, and you just get a person that just starts chatting with you,
That's right.
and they're not a real person. They're striking up that conversation to see if you're vulnerable enough to just keep chatting on
That's
for
right.
whatever reason.
That's right.
And that's how they hook just a regular adult, too.
Yeah.
You've recovered some kids, some people from human trafficking, and once they get back into, I want to say normal society. I don't know if there is a normal society, but once they get back into freedom, let's say, what are the safeguards? What keeps them out of the trafficking?
So I think community. I think that's the biggest piece of it, which Hands of Justice and our founder has done an amazing job of creating a community of survivors who walk alongside each other and do life together. They have their trauma-informed therapy that they do, but they also have that survivor-led support group, and it's a safe place for them to be able to not have to explain why I feel triggered today, or why I don't feel good today, or why I had a rough day, whatever it happens to be. I think community is huge, and that's true for all of us, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what our life looks like. We all need that connection, that human connection, and that familiarity, the bond that we have. We share something in common, but we're not using that as an excuse. We're using it to build each other up and to cheer each other on.
So, with once they get back into the community and they realize they've got some people that aren't trying to utilize them or use them,
Right.
when they're brought back out, are they taught that they were being used? Is that part of the educational process?
Part of the educational process is to acknowledge what happened to them. And then that starts the healing process, because you have to admit you have a problem first, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's part of the healing process. And then there are all different types of modalities that we use, whether it's the trauma-informed therapy or mindfulness coaching that we provide, that kind of thing, to help them to realize, okay, yes, this happened to me, but it doesn't have to define me in a negative way. I can build on this, positive things, and I can improve my life, and I can pour back into my community because I'm so resilient and I'm so strong for getting through this. So
I have a question. So you mentioned to me at a
Would
early,
you raise your hand?
but as it relates to cars, though, real quick before we have to move on, you mentioned to me earlier that there's going to be a program to where you may be looking for a car to be donated, or cars to be donated for the women that are reintegrating back into society, job training, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Transportation is key also, you said, for these women.
it is. So in that economic empowerment piece that Hands of Justice provides, we're always looking for ways to help them not relapse. And relapse means go back into the life, right? And so we all know, because when we were younger, we struggled with making ends meet. If we had a flat tire or a car breakdown, that was devastating.
Right.
It can be just as devastating for a survivor as well. We recently partnered with an organization called 3-in-1 Mechanical Ministries, who gifts vehicles to survivors. We are working on our first gift to a survivor. I'm not sure. They said it typically takes 2 to 3 months for that to happen.
Right.
But so excited about that,
Yeah.
because
Have you ever partnered with God's Garage?
we have not. They have a very long waiting list. We
Yes,
are
they
very
do.
aware of them.
And that's why we had talked about this. We wanted to bring awareness in case there's something we can do, and that's why I wanted
Yes.
to spotlight it at Market Street.
Yes, and God's Garage is amazing, and I love their organization. But I believe that they provide vehicles for women with children.
Yes.
A lot of times our survivors don't have children.
I got you.
So tell us.
And so they
what
wouldn't
can we
qualify.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what can we do? How can we get the word out? What are you looking for specifically? Because I know that organization is going to be very instrumental into
It is.
fulfilling this for you. So.
Yeah, so 3-in-1, they're definitely going to help with the vehicle side of things, but we're still going to have an auto expense or transportation expense fund that we're creating, because if they need oil changes, we love to partner with someone who would gift an oil change to a survivor. Any kind of maintenance for their vehicles, again, if they're trying to make ends meet, they can't afford to do those regular maintenance things. So
Right.
if we could partner with somebody like that, that would be amazing for us. Medical expense, also something else. If they've got to go have a checkup, or if there is something physically wrong, we want to be able to help with that. So we're creating funds for those so that the survivors can come to us and say, hey, I've got this need. Okay, let us help you here.
And you said transportation, because if they can't get a ride to work, they may go back
That's
to their
right.
trafficker to.
That's right.
Because it's easy
it
to fall
causes
back.
relapse.
Yeah.
If you lose your job, if you lose your apartment, whatever.
Any little setback.
Any setback. Yes.
But since we're in the mode of cars, that's why I
Yes.
thought maybe we can help, because everybody knows
Put the
somebody.
word out and
Yeah.
send them. Next thing you know, you have a parking lot full of cars.
And where's that organization with the cars? Where is that company?
They actually have a spot. I think he told me around 249 in Willowbrook area is where they have a spot. Yeah.
Well, it'd be interesting to reach out to those guys and,
Yeah.
and chat with them a little bit.
Oh, they would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote it down as 3-in-1 Mechanical
Ministries. Yes.
So, yeah. How do people get in touch with Hands of Justice? How do they find you?
So the best way is through our website, handsofjustice.org. We have all kinds of information, events that we've got coming up. There's a contact form there. Even if you happen to know somebody who thinks that they have been trafficked and they need a referral source, there's a referral form on our website that they can just fill that really brief little information out, and one of our peer support specialists will reach out to them.
And they can come out to Market Street the first
That's
Sunday of the
right.
month.
We'll be at
There we
Market
go.
Street on the first Sunday. Actually, I think for the rest of this year,
Yes.
because Dana has spotlighted us, and we greatly appreciate that exposure. Yeah.
I think I noticed you have a Facebook page, you have an Instagram page, I found a YouTube page. We've got all those links will be provided when this airs next Monday.
Perfect.
But is there a phone number or anything as well?
It's my personal phone number because I'm the executive director, and then I field calls out to wherever they need to go. But yes, so
You're
it's,
always trying to get everybody's phone number every show. Seriously, it's so funny because
But I'm good at it.
yeah, he is good at it. So yeah, you can call me on my phone directly, 713-992-1995, and I'll be happy to help.
But I'm sure a lot of people answer Randy's question with, you can go on the website.
Yes.
We
Yes,
do
you
have a
sure
tremendous amount of that.
can. Yes. Yeah. That's the best way to reach us.
Handsofjustice.org.
Yes.
Best way to get in touch with you guys.
Yes.
And to learn more about the organization.
Absolutely.
All right. Dawn, we can't thank you enough for coming in. We've got to skate on out and get the next guest in here, but thanks again for taking time to come
Yes.
into the
Thank you,
studio.
Dawn.
And we'll
you're
see you
doing-
at Cars and Coffee.
Thank you. Yes, I'll be there April 6th.
yeah, you're
This
amazing. You're doing
is-
great things. Thank
This is Cruisin' Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or for those Globetrotters out there, we can be streamed anywhere on earth at irlonestar.com, on Facebook, or on YouTube. That's Dana Pritchard, that's Robert Helmer, I'm Randy Weldon, and Dawn,
be
how
right.
in the heck how much can I pay you to take Robert with you?
And we'll be right back with our next guest.
Randy loves his biscuits.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Welcome back. Our guest this segment is Gerhart, who's with the Tomball Lions Club. And we appreciate you taking time to come into the studio. It's nice to meet you face to face.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got Robert Helmer over here, Dana Pritchard,
Okay.
and I'm Randy Weldon, of course. You've got an upcoming show that has gotten very popular,
Yes, sir.
and from what you and I were talking the other night, you've actually maxed out and said no more cars. With us, like that's it, we can't handle anymore, right?
Well, it's an interesting story. My wife handles registration. I just run the show the day of the show. Last year, year before we went, at 12 o'clock, we shut it down. At that point, we had 351 cars.
Oh, my goodness.
I went and talked to my wife, and I says, well, how did it go? She said, I'm making an executive decision, no more than 350. So that's the story behind how it came up. Our limit is 350, and I've got pictures. We use the whole area between the high school and the stadium, and it'll hold probably close to 400 or 500 cars.
How do you explain that kind of growth? Because we're in car clubs and we barely make 100 cars, and I mean we struggle to get 100. And you're over here with 350 and turning them away. So-
Well, I've been blessed. I think what happens is I'm working with, I don't know if you know Jason Scaturo.
He's been
and
on
Katie.
our program.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, he picked up on our Lions Club charity. He got to meet me. And I think the thing that I bring to the table is I'm very passionate about what I do. And once that word spreads, and like I said, these guys, the reason I'm here today, I went to Jason and Katie's wedding.
Right.
Well, that's when I met Vernon. That's when
There you go.
and he's talking to me, and he had like 25 people, and I did the photography. And the car guys, now this is a car guy, the wedding, he pulled his car up, Katie pulled her car up. They stood between the cars, and that was the best man and matron of honor. Jason
Gotta love
has
it.
The cars.
Jason has
The
a
cars.
Facebook page. I think it's Houston Regional.
Right.
He has 7,000 followers. I have over 800 followers. And a thing that I know is I think they see my passion and know that it's a charity. And the Lions Club is the largest charity in the entire world. We're in over 221 countries. And where the passion comes from is if you help one person and you see that, we helped a lady get a brand new pair of glasses, couldn't even afford them. Lady has been smiling for the last 4 or 5 months, and her only income was cleaning houses. Are you ready? She now cleans our house.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, I think
Yeah.
that's what people see, and I care. And the other thing is, I know that people, when they come to the show, they want to have a great time, show their cars. But they also want to know when they give those dollars, where are they going?
Right.
Okay? Well, here's the good news. Not one single penny goes to anyway. It's my wife and I, and we cover the whole entire show. We work 10 hours a day doing this, and it's because of the love for helping people. That makes a difference, and I think I translated it because obviously Jason came in and he advertises our show, and people just care. Once you have a charity that people love, then I found we went from 65 to 100 to 150, 200, 250, 300, until Mama said, that's it, 350.
How many years is this now that you all have put on that show?
Well, it's the 31st, so it was put on a long time before I came on board. But at that point, a man by the name of Joe Sebesta was getting old. They brought me in as treasurer, and I went to one of the shows, and it just kind of caught. And I'm ADHD, OCD, so I'm pretty meticulous. So that was it, and we've been running it probably 10 or 11 years, and we've grown it from 65 up to 350.
And it's always been at the same location?
Well, interesting you say that. We actually started in downtown Tomball, and that was back when we had the 65 or 70 cars. And I had some guys come up to me and says, we're not coming back.
What year was that?
I would have to guess somewhere probably 10, 11 years ago.
Okay.
And we did that, and the guys came up, and the car guy said, Al, we're not coming back. And I said, I don't understand. The main plaza was here, there was Cherry Street here, and we used parking here. Well, guess what? People walked. Nobody walked across the street. They were there all day with their cars, and kind of
Oh,
said,
okay, yeah, it's because it's on both sides of the road.
yeah.
Right.
And that just terrible. So we finally left there and went to Lone Star College. They have a bigger area. But then they got to charging us an outrageous fee. They charged us $800.
You're kidding.
And that was just supposedly for security.
And the bathrooms, probably.
No, we had to do that ourselves. And I asked the lady one day, I said, help me out here. We're paying you $800 for what? She said, well, when we have an event, you got to pay to clean the college.
What are they cleaning, the parking lot?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not what I do. That was taking $800 out. So then I got very blessed. I happened to, the fire chief is our president. I know the mayors because that's the Klein community.
Right.
Lo and behold, we got together. We managed to talk to the head of Tomball High School, and they said, well, why don't you come? And we've been on the last Sunday of April until this year because there's a national, I believe, Mustang group that's coming to Galveston
Yep,
and
there is.
Houston.
Mustang Week.
Yep.
Yeah, for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Jason looked me straight in the eyes and he said, hate to tell you this, you can have your show, but there's not going to be any Mustangs there. So that's why we decided to move it, and it'll always from now on be on the first Sunday in May, and the date for the rain will be the 18th, and there's a reason. You know what's on the 11th? Mother's Day.
Yeah, there you go.
You do not conflict
That's-
with
that's
Mother's Day.
You don't do that. That's right.
So,
That's right.
but we work hard, and we appreciate guys. They're coming and helping us this year. So, we're really pumped about making it happen and touching lots of people's lives, and that's what we do.
The time of the show? Is it?
The show starts at 8,
Okay.
judging's at 3, and is over by 4. And then the Best of Show and the Chairman's Award always goes on the front of our flyer. And then the back has all the details. We give away dash plaques to the first 100 people. And so we have barbecue, you know, and last year, when the big year was, we had somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people attend.
Just attendees.
Just the attendees.
Yeah,
We're the third largest event in Tomball.
yeah.
So they can go to Cars and Coffee from 6 to 8 and then head right over to that show on the first Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
there are several people, I'm trying to think of the guy. I mean, we say 8 o'clock. Well, he drives in, trust me, I think he'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He
Boy,
is-
do we know about that.
Or then
He
Cars
is
and
number-
Coffee might be a little.
He is number one.
Yeah. Then we may have a light turnout that morning, so it depends.
Yeah, might.
Yeah, my whole crew starts getting there about 6 in the morning. But
So I'm from a small town in the northeastern United States, and I remember they had a Lions Club there. But tell us a little bit about the Lions Club itself.
Okay.
Lions International.
well, Lions International is all over the world. I've been to one of their conventions, and like I said, there's, I don't know, over 20 million lions. And I went to Milan, Italy, and I never realized the magnitude of what they do and how far they are. They had 20,000 people at their convention, and they promote lionism. And lionism, by and large, has to do with glasses. There was a lady I think it was somewhere around 1919, blind, and that's where it started. She got with the Lions, so that's really their major focus. They do projects, they help all kinds of things. Now, in the case of Tomball Lions Club, I've got to where we found out that by doing the charity shows, we also have a golf tournament. But when you take that money and help somebody on an individual basis, that gives me the spark for my wife and I to spend hours a day to do that. And we had a lady that got evicted. Well, who takes care of her? Well, I happened to come to me. And right after that, we were helping her, and suddenly she has a 100-pound dog, okay? She had to board it. Would you like to guess it was $360 a month to board the dog? Now, she can't afford rent. Well, guess what? What even I do, the dog spent the next 4 months at our house. But but the Lions, you can go, and that's what I tell people, there's 52 clubs in Southeast Texas, okay? You can go to any Lions Club. The problem I found was I don't want to say blessed, but we are, because the average club is small. They're in small communities. You can go Lions everywhere. And most of the time, we went to help somebody in Hempstead. And I said, guys, if y'all can come up with $250, I can go get some matching funds. Treasurer looked me straight in the eye and said, we only have $500 in the bank. But there were 2 ladies that were in that Lions Club for years, and she said, will you put up $250 or $125? I'll put up $125. And she said, so we're done. Is that okay? So I took that money and I parlayed it into $4,000 and help a young man get all kinds of medical treatment that he maybe wouldn't other do.
Y'all are in control of the funds that you raise, it stays local.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
And we even do one thing step further that we had to learn. We vet all the people. I pass out my card everywhere. Pretty much most people in Tomball know me. And the one thing I don't want somebody to do is scam me, because I've had that done once. And so I have a guy that vets. And that makes all the difference, because you can find out a person that needs help when you say, okay, we'll do this. Can you provide me your utility bill, your pay statement, all of this? And they said, well, I don't want to give that out. And we kind of went, guess what? I don't think you need help for that. So
Prove
we
that you
really
need
worked-
the help.
we really worked out that system, because even I put this much work into it, the last thing I want is to somebody get something that doesn't deserve it.
Deserve it.
We also help Camp Hope. I was a veteran from the Vietnam War, and I'm big into helping veterans.
Yep.
So we do a lot.
A lot of car clubs are very supportive of veteran support, like charities.
Right.
Well, even though I was just a little bit too young for Vietnam, but I had to sign up for the draft, but then they dropped it 60 days after I turned 18. So that's how close I was on that. So I never went, but I think a lot of the people currently in the car club community, a lot of car enthusiasts are primarily in that age group.
Yeah.
This Sunday, we just went to a car show in Cold Springs. And it was for care packages for the military that's active duty now.
The ones that are deployed now. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the draft, my dad died, and I had to go to the draft about 2 weeks later. There was no money in the family, and I went in and filled out all the paper, and there was 250 people there. Well, the 10 of us passed. I was 1A, okay? And the bottom line is that means tomorrow you leave. And so I was blessed that my uncle happened to be a chief master sergeant in the Texas Air National Guard. He was able to get me in, so I spent my 6 years serving our country at our Air Guard base in San Antonio.
Oh, in San Antonio,
Yeah.
yeah.
But as things go, for years, nobody considered me a veteran. So I know the heart of a veteran, and it's tough sometimes, you know. But again, I guess that's back to the thing we're talking about. The heart's been there all these years, and why not use it?
Right.
God gave it to me.
Right, well, and you've got the ability to give back now, and it's just good to give back to community.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this about, I see here the Texas Lions Camp. Tell us a little bit about that.
Now that's an interesting thing. I got into Lions because they took me to Texas Lions Camp. Texas Lions Camp has during the summer, every child with special needs comes there, and they come there for free because the Lions clubs all across Texas give to that. So no expense, they get them there, they spend a week, and when I saw the kids coming down in wheelchairs and just smiles on their face, they had every possible thing you could imagine. And for years they couldn't do autism because autism was too, specific, but everything else they cover. And it just, again, it touched my heart. I started raising money. The counselors come down there and they give of their time. We give normally 1 or 2 scholarships to those camp counselors who get very little, but they come for the same reason. So we raise money and we give that. So I open the door. I also sponsor people that want to go to Texas Lions Camp. So anybody needs to know, and then I don't know if I want to publicly put my name out there, but anyway, I love to do that, love to sponsor, and it's the greatest deal. And it's camp, URL is Lions Camp. Now think about that. They were the first Lions Camp. There's a few others, but they're the one that everybody focused, and it's an awesome thing.
This location's in Central Texas, right?
Yes, it's in Kerrville.
In Kerrville.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a few camps out that way. It's a beautiful area of the country.
Oh, it's beautiful. Now there's interesting, like you were talking about clubs, there's a motorcycle club that comes out of over in the Beaumont area. And every year, the whole group brings their whole club, and I think every year they raise and give them, like in scholarships, like $50,000.
That's amazing.
And it's this one huge club. But see, I think people today miss that. Look at the car clubs. You guys love to show your cars. They're out there, they're beautiful, but yet you guys have the same heart. Look what you're doing here.
Yeah.
And if I can convey that message, that's how we got to 350.
Right.
I may be interested in the dog boarding.
About what?
The dog boarding
Dog
service.
parking service.
I have a lab puppy.
Do you have
she's
room
so
for another dog?
Hey, no, I have 3 grand dogs.
Okay.
Grand dogs. There you go. Hey,
Yeah. But,
they're family members too.
Oh, absolutely. Trust me, they are. They have their place when we take our afternoon nap. We're here, we're there. 2 of them get here and 1 get the chair. At
you
the
go.
same time, it takes the same nap.
That's awesome.
We need a nap during the day
Yep.
so we can replenish, so
That's
we
right.
get back to work.
love
But
it.
we work like probably from 9 to 7 almost every day.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that the community might not know so much about car clubs is how much we do for charity. We're out there every weekend for a charity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a car show. It's not just a trophy. It's out there to raise money for some need.
Absolutely.
And it's every single day promoting it
Right.
and,
Oh.
and building the fellowship. It's not just the weekends. It's,
Right.
you know.
And this, thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, we appreciate you coming in. Now, the Tomball Lions Club, when they put this car show on, does the money, the proceeds from that, go to just into the general fund, and that's just dispersed throughout the year? Or
We
is,
have, yes, and I've got budgets that I do. I'm also the treasurer, so
Right.
I take care of the, I take care of it. I'm the fundraiser, so I take care of the money in, I take care of the money out. And the reason I do that is because, like I told you, I want to make sure every penny
Yeah.
that we receive goes for a valid person. We do scholarships, but most of the time you've heard of Rotary. Well, Rotary does things on a bigger scale, but very few people do it on an individual basis.
Right.
And me, but just to see all of this and how, and I know the car clubs, you know, it's just, I love doing it. Now, I used to be able to go, but with a knee problem, I'm trying to get my club to kind of go out and help pass out flyers like I've got
Right.
there.
Well, your show is so well known and established. Everybody marks it on their calendar January.
they do.
They do.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
like-
Exactly. No, I learned that
Yeah.
lesson too. Tell them in January.
Yeah, tell them in January they mark it down. They want to be at that show.
Well, and it's appreciated, and you know the one thing that's important to me, I make an effort. I don't have anything to do that day. I go and try to see every single car and say thank you.
That's huge.
That's what I
Getting
do
around
too at
everybody.
Market Street.
Yeah.
Well, it's just, that's
Yeah.
kind of my deal. And I'm there, I give out trophies. I'm actually a photographer. I take pictures of everybody. Last year, the rain came, and we had, you know, just some cars, but the fundraising helped us. And at the end of the day, we were giving out, and I was taking pictures. And a man came up to me, and you know what he said? You know, I'm here, and the first time I ever got a trophy. Could my son hold the trophy and you take
Oh,
his
wow.
picture? You know, it's just, like I said, I'm blessed, and I thank God every day that
Yeah.
He gave me this ability. And the joke for me is the fact that when people talk to each other, like they called you, and you said, I talked to Al today, and the big joke that goes around is they say, how long? So,
It's about building the relationships. It's just
Yeah.
the same as Cars and Coffee. That's why I like to greet every single person coming in
Yeah.
and thank them, because they'll always remember that making the personal aspect of it, not just showing you cars and
because it's just,
Yeah, crossing
if you
paths.
don't give back, why would you expect? And I go to other shows, in the Lions Club, I get the judges. Well, guess what? Every first Saturday of the month, guess what we do? We go play bingo at that club, because how can I ask somebody to come help me when I don't go help them?
Right.
Well, right. And so let me ask this, because a lot of people will come out to this car show, and you may have some first-time people this year that come out. Sometimes, like you're saying, that you greet everybody, they're uncomfortable, and you know they pull back, they're not real open. But the Lions Club in Tomball meets a couple times a month, I believe.
Right.
And where do they meet? How do they meet? And people can come to that, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've
Anybody
got a
that
big-
wants to attend the car show can come to one of these
yeah.
meetings and
Oh,
get to know you.
We've actually do it at Martha's Mexican Restaurants, where we moved to. It has a big room. We can handle people. And since I'm treasurer, I have the ability, you come to our meeting, and I will personally buy your lunch.
Yeah.
Look at there.
See, that's a.
Did you
Well,
say
you
margarita?
know now I'm going, right?
Well, you know, I was about to say all car people like
you
to
know,
eat.
what's
so-
funny about that? You watch, but you know, we have speakers, and it's nice. I'll have people come in, and we reach out to people. It says, "If would you like to come speaker?" Because then we're able to see other people and we get them on board with us too. But
Randy, you missed the margarita part.
Oh, well,
Well-
he got to the food part. That's all I needed to hear.
well,
I'm just kidding.
I did make a mistake one year. At our meeting installation banquet, I kind of said, okay, we'll pay that in drinks. Do not ever say drinks.
Yeah.
Trust me. I mean, fortunately, I've got some people, and they always tell me, said, Al, Ron never ever comes to a meeting. And I said, would you please shut up? And he go, I don't understand. I said, every time I need something, when that happened, I said, hey, Ron. He said, how much you need? And he will write me a check and cover whatever the deal is. And I've got several people like that. So you don't necessarily have to be at a meeting to be
support it.
involved. He handles our barbecue pit.
Yeah.
He's there. He's figured out how to keep barbecue. I don't know, he shrink wrap or whatever he does with it, that he can take it from one week to the next. Because he does 40 briskets. Last year, we had to sell them, but that's okay.
Al actually had worked at Gullo. So he
Oh,
knew
really?
Mr. Gullo. Yeah, he knew Mr. Gullo personally. And
I knew his Bentley very well.
Okay.
I was one of the top salesmen there. I've always sold cars. And he would come in every morning, and he'd always go, hello, boys. And as he came in, his office was here, and Sparky's was here.
Right.
And then I took pictures of cars for years. And I guess you knew across the street were Toyota and,
Right.
well, Karki is over there. So you got Sparky, Karki, and Mr. Gullo. And if you've never been to his show that he has like 200 or 300 cars. And now that he's passed away, and I got Jason and Katie and her parents, and you have to have special invitation. So I know the people at Gullo, Toyota, and Ford. So I called them up and said, sure, Al, this will be a good weekend.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I
Jeff's
don't.
taking care of it now. Jeff.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Jeff's
Yeah,
organizing.
I've got a guy that's helped him all these years, and he's also one of my sponsors. And so, yeah, to get a special invitation, and Jason was really moved because you went in there, and I mean, there were cars.
Yeah,
you
we've
know,
been there several times with our
Yeah,
anniversary.
but like I
stuff.
said, and then I think they're going to stop doing the Christmas lights.
that was my understanding.
What I got was they're going to do the Christmas lights, but you cannot stop. They're not going to do the Santa Claus. You're not going to be able to walk around. They're
Right,
just
yeah.
drive by. So the museum is, I guess, due to private invitations only.
Right.
As always.
Yeah, because I don't think we're going to be able to be in there like we normally do.
No, but Vernon has something set up for us to go in there one time this year.
Here's how this works. It's not what you know.
It's who you
It's
know.
who you know.
I just happen to know the guy, and that's how I got the
Yeah.
invitation. And he works there, and he's always sponsored me. He's in the parts department. Unfortunately, his name escapes me right
Yeah.
now. But I just spelled
David.
it out.
His name's David, isn't it?
Tell me his last name.
I don't remember his
I
last
don't
name.
either.
All I remember is the guy who retired from the parts department who always comes to our car show. I don't know what his name
That was
is,
David.
but was that David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
He
he's-
was
he's
taking
in
care of
Toledo.
Gullo's actual cars at
Yes.
for the museum.
Yeah, and I actually had asked him to see if Tony would bring a few cars. I just couldn't pull that one.
Yeah.
Couldn't pull that one off.
Always hard to get those out of there.
Yeah, but it was nice, and he loved car shows. I mean,
Yeah. He's going to be
just
greatly
tell it.
missed.
He will.
Oh,
Yep.
he's truly missed.
Yep. But we were fortunate to have the family continue and carry on.
Yeah.
So, Al, let's get back a little bit to talking about your car show. We're going to have to skate out of here pretty quick. We've
Okay.
exceeded our time limit as usual. But you've got your May 4th,
Yes.
8 to 4 p.m. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you've got pre-registration. It's $25 per
Correct.
car. $30 if you pay at the gate
Right.
when you show up. Then you've got a multitude of different awards and stuff that are going on. You're going to have barbecue out there. You do accept parking donations,
Yes.
all right, and that all goes towards contributing. Usually that's Robert with his phone on.
That was
so-
somebody that wanted help. but go ahead.
We'll give them help here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it's tomballlionsclub.org. That is a 501c3, so you're a
Yes.
nonprofit.
Absolutely.
You didn't want to put your name out there earlier, but people can go to the website, the tomballlionsclub.org site, and they can contact you there.
It's real easy. Contact us, you get me.
There you
Everybody
go.
has my card, and I don't mind that because those are nice most of the time. But I'm out there. It's www.tomballlionsclub.org and hit contact us, and you get me.
All right.
And then there's a phone number on here, which I guess is your personal phone number. It's
Yes.
713-410-6542.
There you go with that phone number again. Huh?
But I didn't have to ask for it this
Hey,
time.
hey.
It's on the card.
Hey.
It's on the flyer.
You think I take calls like all the time,
Okay.
but I love to take calls.
Robert, are you going to be out there for this?
I hope.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you do, there's going to be some really good music put on by the Bubba and Yoda show.
Are you doing karaoke again?
You're kidding.
We won't be doing karaoke unless we get Robert up there after he's had a few of those Martha's Margaritas. So, you know.
You need to look over his list before you okay it, okay?
Yeah, but I just, like I said, now this happened, we just had a regular DJ, and the problem was that we had it right by the back of the school, and if you were within 60 feet, you did this, and past 60 feet,
Couldn't hear.
Couldn't
and
hear
now
anything.
these guys are coming this year, Vernon and yourself,
Yeah.
and
You're
Yoda.
using Verlin setup, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that takes him about 2 or 3 hours to set up.
But you know, it was another car show. It was back to the Jason and Katie wedding
Yeah.
where I got to meet Vern.
Yeah.
There was like 20 people there, and I don't know. I just
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, they're Bluetooth speakers and they're so heavy I can't lift them up.
Well, we actually wire them with they're hardwired.
Are
with
they
XLRs,
hardwired now?
Yeah.
I know they are Bluetooth capability.
They do Bluetooth, but we're hardwiring everything.
okay,
We've got
okay.
the switcher and all the
Well, it
microphones
just-
and everything.
And it touches my heart how that has, just grown.
Yeah.
And when Mama has to say it stops at 350 because somebody wanted me to take it, there's a big event center that holds 10,000 people, and the parking lot holds 600 or 700, and we looked at it and said, somebody else needs to do it.
You're there. You got to get a lot more volunteers.
And that's the problem.
It is a problem.
Yeah.
When Mom and I run the whole show, and if it wasn't for Jason and Katie, I mean, that pretty well sums it up. And then you guys come and bring the sound system, and I've got one company that pays, or I don't know how she gets them there, but she brings like 10 or 15 women out, and they help Eva with the registration that day.
Yeah, that's great.
And they want to, I've got several dealerships involved that come out, and I bring new cars out so people can walk through, and that makes about $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're there. If you want to walk by, because the cars, I just kind of funnel them through because I got to give them something a little bit. But that's and for whatever it's worth, I don't want to go without saying. But this is a picture from the 351 car.
wow.
Totally filled the area. Now it's supposed to be holding 500, but we try to make sure that you get a
Had
leave
enough
the
room to
space
walk
in it.
around the car, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I have a guy that came over and took the pictures, but that's the one that I'm always so proud of because
Yeah, great, good aerial.
that's how big it is.
It's a nice layout.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, and that's why we got there because the college just didn't have the deal, and they would schedule an event the same day
That's
we
the
were
car show,
there,
right?
and they said, "Well, we're going to put you back on that parking lot over there." And it didn't take too long, plus the $100, and I said, "We got to do something else." And
Yeah.
that's when we opened the door, and now we're opening more doors so we can touch more.
If they're going to charge you to be there, it doesn't work either. So that's taken away from your charity donations.
Yeah, that just, if they'd have paid for the security, but to tell me they got to clean the college,
Yeah.
So I'm glad where we are. Everything's fine. Got these people on board, Jason and Katie, and God has been good.
Robert's going to come out. We'll get him to volunteer to do something.
Hey, you can
No,
always
he's going
judge.
to do the dancing.
yeah. Well, Al, we can't.
Would you like to? Yeah.
Hey, we can't thank you enough
Yeah.
for coming
Oh.
into the studio with us and talking about this car show. Look forward to it coming up this year. Look forward to taking part in it. And we're going to skate on out, but thank you so much for
Yeah,
your
it was
time.
All right.
Good meeting.
Nice
you.
to meet
Oh,
you.
you bet, and I look forward to, and I can always do the thing. If you come personally to me, you will get a free barbecue sandwich.
Okay.
I just
Excellent.
happened to know the guy in the bar.
It's who you know.
That works
So
out.
you know. Yes, sir.
And that's it for this episode of Cruisin' Car Club Talk. I'm Randy Weldon along with Robert Helmer and Dana Pritchard. We've got L. Gerhart in the studio. Sitting back in the safe room / sound booth is our sound engineer and producer, Dick Schischler. We are broadcasting from the studios of Lone Star Community Radio at 104.5 and 106.1 FM and streaming worldwide on irlonestar.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.